Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for joining today's session with Austin FC head coach Josh Wolff. Please, as usual, use the reactions button and the raise your hand function if you want to ask any questions. You should be granted permission to record within the next few seconds. Let's just wait about 10 or 15 seconds for everybody to be able to record. We'll get things going. Thank you. We will start with Chris Bills, followed by Eric Goodman. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, thanks, Mauricio. Josh, I know we talked earlier in the week about the squad rotation and what was going to go into that, but I was just wondering if you could take us through each of the players that didn't make the trip tonight and sort of any differences there between any of those guys of why they weren't available tonight.
Yeah, it has to do with the schedule. Obviously, it was a late Sunday night game, a game at altitude in Colorado tonight, and we'll get back at 4 a.m. and we have a game Saturday afternoon. So that's the reason there's such significant squad rotation. As far as for Sebastian and Diego, again, it's the amount of work they've done. Obviously, how they felt right after the game, the next day, and the recovery. They were behind as far as how they were recovering from that. And we got to keep our eyes on, what we felt could get us, the most points in these 3 games. And obviously we got the first 3 in the first game. And then now we had this game to be in a position to get some points was the idea, and then come home and have some freshness and really have the ability to drive the game at home on another quick turnaround. But it is challenging. Z, again, more about him just getting complete day off rather than the travels, whether he played or not. And Musa, again, had 72 minutes. That was his first significant minutes. So I didn't think putting him on a plane to fly here to maybe play, and again, getting back at 4 a.m., doing that for everybody just doesn't make sense when we can have a few guys on a full freshness and fully recovered come Saturday, because it's another game that comes quick after 2 days. And, it's just a decision that we made to hopefully put us in a place to maximize points. Obviously today didn't work out, and I take all the responsibility for that. The structure was something that we wanted to obviously contain what Colorado tries to do. And for bits and pieces of most of the first half, we did that, but we didn't play. We didn't have the ability to move and connect the game real well. So as the game went on, we did a little bit better, but it was a poor decision on my part.
How strategic are you guys being in the weeks leading up to these? I think you called them 3-packs. I know you had like a 7-day layoff between. I'd
say this one's really unique because it is a Sunday, Saturday. It's really, that's the difference, I guess. You don't really have any extra days or 2 days in between, and it's a grind. I'm not saying no other teams get it, but we'll have 7 of these 3-packs throughout the year, and I'm sure there are teams that have less than us, and maybe there's some that have more than us. But it's been a challenge with depth, obviously with travel, and those things can play a role. And this one was more about, it was just real clear. It's Sunday night, Wednesday, Saturday afternoon, and it's challenging. It's going to be physically, it was always going to be tough this week, but we feel like we'll have some guys that are going to be fresh and ready to go when we get home. And obviously there's going to be some residual fatigue from the first 2 games and the players that we utilized in the 3rd game.
Yeah. And then the decision to start Tarbell over Stuber, can you just take me through the reasons why that was, and then what you saw from him?
Yeah. Again, I think the idea was, an accumulation of games in quick succession, and Tarbs has been great in training, and been, a guy that's, had a great voice in the locker room. And, we're making a few changes on the field. So, again, giving him an opportunity, based on, where we're at in the season, where we're at in the table, and obviously, 3 games in quick succession as well. That's part of it. Obviously, goalies, you could always say they don't ever need a break, but I think it's, it was in mind with getting him some minutes that he deserves, and obviously giving Brad a little bit of a rest and a chance to take a moment. But it didn't work. It was bad decisions from roster or 11 selection for the 11, and obviously the way that we played.
Thank you, Chris. Eric Goodman, followed by Archvale.
Josh, you've preached kind of how important sustaining momentum and stringing positive results together is for this club. Hasn't happened as much as you guys would like. Why not, given the performance on Sunday, why not make that extra effort for this game specifically, rather than, I understand the need to rotate the squad, but you had an opportunity here to maybe give yourself a better chance to kind of string good results together?
Yeah, again, I think, the idea of these 3 games being as quick as they were, you could put everything into this game and then you're not sure where you're at on the weekend, and that's a home game for us as well. But, again, I think you need to think about making rotations. It's, in this case, I got it wrong with that, and certainly maybe the setup. So, it's a tough, it's always going to be an after the fact thing that we can talk about. But the idea of going into this short week, we knew we were going to need to do it. We have 2 center backs, so we have to be careful with how we utilize them and their minutes as well. And again, our fullbacks were, with where we are with 3 fullback. Obviously, we have Z, but Aiden was able to get some minutes tonight, and it was invaluable for him. But it's a little bit of it is limitations of what we have available. But we look at it in the whole on the week as far as what we have coming and our opportunities to now try to maximize points in each game. And that was the starting point.
So given that line of thinking, did you maybe get a little bit of what you were asking for tonight?
Well, it was it's a difficult result, but like I said, I got the decisions wrong and the structure wrong. And hopefully we go home and we have some freshness and we can go there to get a result. 9 points available in the week on a very short week. I think in a good way, if we got 7, you'd be really happy about it. If we get 6, it'd still be a very good pull on a difficult week. But now we got to put the work in and obviously come home and play it on a Saturday afternoon in front of our fans.
Thank you, Eric. Go ahead, Arch, followed by John Lupo.
Thanks, guys. Josh, on the third goal, Trusty out jumps Cascante there on the corner kick. Julio had just come into the game for Romagna. Was that just a question of he just wasn't warm? He wasn't warmed up, or he was maybe a little cold when Trusty got the better of him? What'd you see on that one?
No, it's a matter of winning your battle. I mean, I think, obviously Trusty's like 6'4", and Julio's a pretty good size as well. So it's a matchup that was, obviously with Johan dealing with him in the first part and Julio in the second. I think he's certainly fully capable of dealing with that. I'm sure Julio would tell you the same. It's just a matter of in that moment being able to deal with the duel in the situation. So, we'll look at it, we'll talk to him, but it could certainly be better.
Go ahead. Go ahead, John, followed by Jorge Iturralde.
Thanks, Mauricio. Josh, you mentioned about the rotation of the squad and these 3 packs. I know that Mackenzie had his first goal for the club in his first appearance over the weekend, and I know he only came on for 15 minutes, but what did you see from him? And do you think, knowing that you need depth, how much do you think he'll be an important player going forward?
I think it's helpful. He's got speed. I think that was part of tonight. We wanted to obviously bring some freshness and some energy, but we had players that, give us verticality and running, but we also have to play. And, that's the part that we lacked certainly in the first half. So, Mackenzie did a good job. He got behind the line a few times. We would have liked to, do it a little bit more selective and be able to move the ball around, certainly be able to move the opponent around. We went for balls, into the channel behind their line, probably more often than we set out to do, but it caused them problems on a couple of occasions. And again, I think he brings that speed, he brings verticality, and he did a good job getting in on a 1v1, and it didn't work out. But we'll continue to work and refine the other areas of his game as far as positioning and timing. But I think he unbelievable introduction the other night at home, and obviously took a great goal and wanted to carry that momentum and that opportunity that he earned to come in here and start tonight. So he worked hard. He obviously put himself in a couple of good spots, and it's a difficult decision that we got to live with, where it's not a penalty, not a red, and I'm sure we'll get an apology, but that's life.
Go ahead, Jorge, followed by Mark Turner and Phil West. You are muted, Jorge.
Okay. Hi, Josh. I'm going to try to be very quick. On the part of playing 3 games in a week, most of the teams in the world, they're playing 3 games in what we give in CONCACAF champions, whatever, Copa del Rey. Most of the teams, they play 3 games per week. Now, doing a lot of changes, on the team at once, and I'm talking even with the people who travel Romagna and Cascante, they played together 4 or 5 games, like trying to get used to one each other.
Yeah.
And today was just something that I didn't understand. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, I can understand that. But right now we have 2 center backs, basically, Julio and Johan. And, Freddie's a guy that we can use, I think, in certain situations. But, part of it is we can't just keep running them out every week, 90 minutes, or every game, 90 minutes. And that's if we lose one of those guys at any point, we're in real trouble. Obviously, Matt's out with a concussion. It's going to be a bit, I'm not sure when we get him back, if we get him back, but part of it was with that in mind. It's, we have to, make some conscious decisions about physically where these guys are at. And again, we left Johan on for about 10 more minutes than we were going to, and brought Julio in. But of course, the chemistry that they've had and playing together, the consistency, that's, those things are certainly needed. And obviously there's familiarity. And when we make the changes that you talked about, again, that's where I got it completely wrong. Too many changes that disrupted, certainly our ability to play. We had some guys on there that could bring certain elements to the game, but we still have to play and stay calm and connect the game. And, I think the amount of changes and certainly a little bit of the structure affected the guys. And, it was in a place where we wanted to come here and make it difficult for Colorado and limit some of the things they want to do, but we still have to be able to go out and do the things that we want. And, playing between lines, behind lines is part of that. We didn't do it well enough.
Saving the players on this game, are you focused since the beginning to win on Saturday?
Well, I was focused on getting points in all 3 games, and we got the 3 points in the first game. And obviously then you take stock of where your guys are at. What does the opponent look like? Again, we talk about if it's a Saturday, Sunday game, or it's Saturday, do you have a little bit extra time in there? But with Sunday, Saturday, there's just no days. You have 2 days to recover and the game comes. And, we're getting back at 4 a.m. tomorrow. So there is some fatigue there. And, I think it's, part of our challenge, but we're going to put together a team. I think, again, you'll have some freshness out there. We'll have good energy. And again, I think, I told these guys, don't let this have any effect. I got this wrong. That's my responsibility. And I screwed that up. Let's pick ourselves up, quickly put this behind us and get ready for another good game at home. And, that's the mentality I want these guys to have. And obviously we go home, get our 3 points, 6 points in a week. We could talk about things after that, but we got to go do that. And that's what the next 2 days is getting fresh and obviously preparing the right way.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Mark.
Hi, Coach. Just a couple of quick questions. You talked to us earlier in the week about how good Colorado were down the flanks. You also talked about how good they were on set pieces.
Yeah.
Arguably, all 3 goals came from one of those 2 scenarios. The second one, obviously, Andy made a mistake. And that contributed heavily to that goal. So what are your thoughts in regards to, you addressed those as areas of concern and they came back to bite you tonight?
Yeah, no, it's clear. And that was part of the idea of us being in a 5-2-3, which when we executed it in a good way and our distances were good and we closed guys down and didn't let them turn, we did an okay job clogging those wide areas and obviously preventing some of the central play. They had a couple good combinations right in front of us with Manny. So Manny, it was difficult for him to get up to speed and obviously really close guys down and turn with them. But, they got the one right at the end of the half and again, right at the beginning of the half. And those 2, proved to be, the killers. The set piece is obviously, something after the game's probably been decided, but, it's part of their strengths and we've talked about them. We're aware of them, but we tried to set up ourselves in a way that could help minimize that. For bits and pieces, it was a decent amount. We gave up, I guess 8 or 9 shots. I'm not sure what the total shots were, maybe 10 shots. But a few of them, they got around us in a little bit too easy manner where we didn't close them down and have enough contact with them. But, they're a decent team.
So you talked about making mistakes this evening in terms of the lineup, 7 changes, obviously, to the lineup. I got to say, Coach, there was, and I'm not trying to be wise after the fact here, but I think we all felt like there was a sense of the inevitable about this evening. You've already said you've apologized to the players. You said, hey, this one's on me. How do you think that affects the mindset, though, your mindset and also that of the players when you make those changes, kind of feels inevitable and then the inevitable comes to pass?
Yeah, well, the inevitable becomes that as the game, I guess, and you guys get that feeling or that as the game starts to take place, but it comes from a place, this is what we're doing and these are some of the reasons we're doing it. And these are the players that we're going to go out and try and execute with. So again, looking back after the game, obviously it's easy to say I got it wrong. And, again, I think it's a learning experience for myself, but our entire group, obviously, but we got to push it under the rug as quick as possible. We have another game to focus on. We'll talk more about it, after the RSL game. I review and reflect these games quite intensely with our staff. So there'll be things to talk about, certainly. But the fact is I got it wrong. And to your point, can it affect the players? I'm sure it can, but that's why I'm going to, obviously try to get us in a place in the next couple of days that's, ready to play, ready to perform, and really clear us to what our guys are up for, and back to a very comfortable state with the way we want to play.
Cheers, coach.
Go ahead, Phil.
Josh, so just a quick follow-on on the rotation stuff, not to dwell too much on it, but how much of it was a kind of Dave Tenney data-driven sort of thing versus just your gut?
No, I think there's some parts that play a role. Obviously, when we're watching these guys, we can get the, from a data and science side, we can get the, real clear idea of how they're feeling, because you have the data from the entire year, how they respond each game, what they look like based on the previous game. So that's certainly in there. And again, I think for Sebastian and Diego, that was something that was certainly part of the decision making. But it's also part of we played Sunday night, late night, where we flew to altitude. We're going to get back at 4 a.m. and it's a quick turnaround for a 2:30 game on Saturday. So it didn't work. And again, I'm certainly obviously thinking about, we do have some fresh guys, and we got to pick these guys up that are here and be ready for that game as best we can.
Okay, and then just quick follow-on, take spotlight off you for a second. What kind of case do you think Robin Fraser's building for Coach of the Year?
I'm sorry, say that again.
What kind of case do you think Robin Fraser's building for Coach of the Year?
Yeah, he's done a great job. I mean, they've played with a lot of consistency, and again, they're a difficult team to play against and a difficult team to break down. So I think he's certainly a guy that should be in the running for it. And it's tough to say what New England, with what they're doing, and obviously the level of success they're having. But Robin's doing a great job.
Thank you very much, Coach. Appreciate your time.